Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Mox Masters 2023 January event. So we've been through what, 3 rounds already, Scott?
Three
Right?
rounds.
Three
Yep.
rounds, some really exciting games, some really fun moments, some really impressive decks and impressive performances. And now we're moving on to round 4. This is a 5-round Swiss event. So there's one more round of Swiss after this. Then we do our final cuts into top 16, and then from there into top 4. This will unfortunately be your last round with me and Scott, but we plan on making it a good one.
Excellent.
Before we get started here, there's a few things that I would like to shout out. The first of which being, if you're looking for any Playing with Power merchandise from now through the end of January, you can get 10% off all Playing with Power merchandise by using the code Mox Masters January at the merchandise store. That's right, Mox Masters January is the promo code to get 10% off through the end of January on all Playing with Power merch. Playing with Power also recently has revamped their Patreon, which includes entrance to the league, the Playing with Power leagues for free. That's right, you can compete in the Playing Power leagues for free and earn points towards the Mox Masters Invitational, which will be at the end of quarter 3 here in the year 2023. Will be an in-person cedh tournament where players with points accrued from Playing with Power's leagues and the Mox Masters events will get invited to play in a high-stakes cedh event where only the best of the best will compete against each other
Yeah,
in the
as I
highest form
understand
of
it,
competitive.
it's a cedh kumite. So unfortunately, if you lose, you do die in real life.
Oh, whoa.
I can't actually advertise that. I want the bosses at Playing with Power to know that that was a joke.
We're clarifying
Just
for
clarifying that
legal
that was
reasons.
a
No.
giggle. Yeah.
But yeah, so we have we're gonna have a really good pod. We have some players that are pretty predominant in the community here, some players we haven't seen in a very long time, and some decks that are going to put in some work. We are at the top end of this tournament. So once you get into the later rounds, we're talking about round 4, round 5 of Swiss, you start seeing the players that are the most in contention to move on to the top cuts, which means you start seeing the more consistent decks, the higher performing lists, and things that just tend to play better into Swiss rounds. So you'll see a lot of similarities in the decks that we're going to present in this pod, and a lot of similarities in playstyles and strategies amongst these players, which is going to be really cool to see and really fun. Scott,
Yeah.
what are you excited about for round 4?
So, notably, a few things. Notably, each of these players is currently in the top 16. So, winning here probably locks them in for the top. I don't know the real math, but uh, winning here is certainly a good way towards a lock for being in the top 16. The other thing that's notable is no one in the top 16 is undefeated. There are no undefeated players in this tournament. Uh, so the top 16 is very live still. We have a pretty good bubble of people with 10 points, and then outside of that we have 7 and 6. So if those people at 7 and 6 win out, we have the opportunity for the top 16 to really shake up. But in this particular round, I am super excited to see Shiver on Tim Najeska, Shiver Mad Farm aficionado. We got Helenium playing Blue Farm, which is slightly out of character for Hal. Hal Helenium is typically a Krark Sakashima player or Najila player or Naya Dargo. You see those kinds of decks from Hal. I liked seeing Thrasios Bruce in the top 16 of another tournament. We saw data from cedh Guide that said that Thrasios Bruce actually has one of the better conversion rates in the format for entering tournaments and getting to the top 16. And then we have Krark the Thumbless. We've already seen one Krark, but maybe we'll see some different Krark this round. That deck is very modular. I love the way that it always pans out to be different. So This game could be over on turn 1, or this game could be over on turn 21. Where I don't think that there is an in between. Like it'll be 1-2, or it'll be several turns deep, like 6 or 7. I think. Um, but overall, I'm just super excited to see the diversity that we have at this table right now in decks. It's yeah, I mean it's 4 very different decks. And we have another low color representative at the table in Clark and Sakashima, and yeah, I love to see it.
Something that I'm really excited about is Hellenium playing against three of his favorite decks.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
have Hellenium playing against Timna Jessica, which he was a primer author for. You have him playing against Thrasios Bruce. We know Hellenium is really into Thrasios Akiri.
Yeah.
And then you have Quark Sakashima, which is one of Hal's favorite decks
Yeah.
to play of all time. So it's really funny seeing him in second seat playing against all three of these.
So it
But
looks like we're
Brian, do you
resolving
have
mulligans now. And
Yes, only if you allow
I
me
think
to
we're gonna
read
kick
some
off the game soon. I didn't mean to cut you off, Adam. Please
no
continue.
worries. We just have Captain Moral Support in the chat saying, is there anyone you think can run off quickly? In a pod like this, I think Jessica Timna is the deck to watch for winning as fast as possible.
Jessica Timna going first. Yeah.
Yeah. The only issue being that you're playing against three of the best blue
Yeah.
decks with interaction in the format. So whether or not you want to risk that is a decision you have to make as a player.
Yeah.
And as you can see, already an explosive start, land into Mana Crypt, into Arcane Signet with Shiver. Now, Scoots, are you familiar with Shiver as a player?
Very nice.
I haven't played against Shiver, but I've heard of Shiver. If that makes any sense, I think they're doing a lot to establish that wild 24 land West Coast Mad Farm deck that I've heard so much about. Captain Moral Support in the chat. We're going to avoid predicting who we think will win in favor of just letting the games play out. But a turn 1 Wishclaw Talisman is not a bad start. I'll say that much.
From coming from Millennium here.
Coming from Blue Farm, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, these are pretty explosive starts here, right?
And this looks like it was a 4.
Yeah, it looks like we only have 2 cards left in hand.
Yeah.
On Hal's hand there. But yeah, I mean, Shiver starting off with a pretty explosive start with that Sarah Ascendant.
Sarah
That
Ascendant, yeah.
demands an answer. Otherwise, they can easily run away with the game, especially in a deck like Mad Farm, where like your life total is so dependent on how well your deck performs. Hellenium getting this Wishclaw Talisman out early is, you know, a good sign of things to come on turn 2. And then I think how would I pronounce this? Maudis?
That's how I would pronounce it. Maudis.
We'll go with that. And then Maudis doing Land Dork Pass, a very like contentious play in CDH these days.
Actually,
right?
Yeah, tens of people have told me that that doesn't win games.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens here.
I disagree though.
Yeah, and then we have Island into Soul Ring into Lotus Petal into turn 1 Quark from Pennyman.
I'm glad I didn't pick yours.
And then I think that the Quark is resolving, and we're just oh wow, Shiver had an Enlightened Tutor at the end step of Pennyman's turn.
That generally does a thing. Yeah.
Yeah, this is scary for the other players at the table. Everyone's tapped out.
What are you getting here if you're Shiver, not knowing the content of their hand, obviously?
Yeah, I mean, not knowing the content of their hand. And Jessica Timna, I don't know what the infinite mana generators in the list are. But
sometimes it's Auriok Salvagers and Lion's Eye Diamond. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because basically, like, everyone's guards are down, right? Unless, like, you basically are worried, and in my opinion, I'd be worried about Maudis here over anybody having free interaction. But everybody's tapped out. And like, if you had a window, that would be a good one. But it looks like we're getting a Smothering Tithe instead.
Smothering Tithe, okay.
I mean, if you think it's going to resolve, I mean, getting an early Tithe down is a huge momentum shift in this game.
Wow, this list is Spicy.
Do you mind sharing it with me, Scoot?
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
2-3-1.
I think you're gonna love it.
Uh-oh. But yeah, I'm just I'm curious if Hal cracks that wish claw on this turn.
Yeah, Clark's
Maybe we
good.
hold
I am
on to
done.
it. But we're gonna move into Shiver's turn and see what we do here. Resolving our mana crypt trigger. It's evens, which means no damage, presumably. No, other way around. Evens are damage. Shiver's a
What?
madman.
What? Wow.
Oh, no way. I've heard of this list before.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, it looks like we're passing the turn here to Hellenium.
Notably, not on the more traditional
Just get to
infinite mana
miss strategy.
combo. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
I don't hate it though.
Yep.
No, I
Dark side. Yeah, no, I mean it's got good bones. It's got good
Ooh,
bones.
but a Dranith Magistrate from Hal. That's a
fine.
good piece to put down.
That's a good play.
Yeah. This mull of 4 is really strong from Hal.
Yeah.
Hitting our land drops, putting in pieces that progress our board state, as well as pieces that prevent our opponents from progressing theirs. I really like this play out of Hellenium. What a good mulligan. Like
Yeah.
a really good mulligan. I like that a lot.
An Aether spell bomb.
Hey, yo.
That is wow. Okay.
So we went land into Soul Ring, tapping our Soul Ring for Aether Spellbomb, holding up 2 mana. We could just get our Thrasios online if there wasn't a Dranith Magistrate.
Wow, big bully energy from the Giant Magistrate.
Yeah, really laying down the law. And then, I mean, Pennyman, luckily getting the Krark out before that Dranith came down.
Yeah.
That's lucky to get that going. But it looks like, oh, did we miss our land drop? I sure hope not.
Looks like it.
Roll for crits, evens damage.
Pass. Yep. We missed our land drop.
Wow, that's rough.
That is rough.
Yes. Okay.
Yes, Hellenium. Aether Spell Bomb specifically bounces your Dranith Magistrate.
I mean, Krark plays Treasonous Ogre. It's not just me.
This Clark does not.
So yeah, we're just moving to combat. Looks like we're swinging at Hal with the Sarah Ascendant. Hal is the perceived threat at the table with 1 card in hand.
Yes. Yeah.
Hal all the way down to 25 already. Let's all be thankful that Sarah Ascendant is not a commander.
Oh yeah. Gosh, 1 mana. That would be a very strong commander. Stronger than Isamaru, Hound of Conduct. Wishclaw Talisman. I hear that card is good.
Yes. Okay, and we're passing the turn here. Hellenium. Oh, dying off
Down
a
to
mana
22.
crypt? Yikes. Getting bullied here.
That's not responsible.
What to do? What to do?
Play City of Traders.
Ooh, City of Traitors. It's like
Oh,
how
we're
you
getting the Crom out now?
we're
Very
putting the
nice.
pressure on Millennium here, but how are you gonna cast Ad Nauseum with White Pip?
That's what I was
Like, I don't know. With 1 card in hand, I maybe would have shifted my focus to something else, but I think it's also, player playing Ad Naus bad.
Yeah, no. I think there's a certain point where you get Hal low enough that you're not worried about them, but also
I wonder
with
if 22 is that number.
yeah, I'm curious as well. We also know that like the Wishclaw, like there's Blue Farm runs 1 card win conditions, so
Yeah.
1 tutor could be enough. So it's really there is reason to continue pressuring the life total here, but also
I suppose you do want to get Jessica online or Timna online, and you need to player removal counts as permanent removal, I guess.
Draw.
yes,
In
some
this
of the best
particular
removal
scenario,
in the game
yeah.
is player removal. So
Yeah.
I can see why Shiver is continuing to attack Hal here. Maudis putting a Gaia's Cradle into play.
That would have
Cat-
been pretty good with a
Okay.
Thrasios.
Yeah, it would have felt really good. Pennyman still unable to
The
progress here without
same
another
thing.
land.
Send Krark over.
And you
Shiver
see
again.
Shiver here with tons of mana and a Wish Claw on board. It's
Yeah.
not a
And
good
we'll
sign for the
pass.
table.
Not great.
Land.
Yeah.
Although Maudis not purposely not casting.
That last card in hand
We
better
have like
be a real banger, Millennium.
from Hal. It's just Pact of Negation. Can't even afford to pay. We don't have two blues.
Lose the game. Yeah.
Play land.
Land. Wow, we're making our land drops. You know, I actually heard from someone who is named Drake Sasser that land drops are just lotus petals that you can play every turn for free. I think it's something like that. Have you
Yeah,
heard
that makes a
Paul?
lot of sense. I like that idea.
Yeah. Making your land drops traditionally goated.
You good?
Yeah, this hand from Shiver seems to be really, really impressive.
Shiver's hand is wild. I would have loved to see their opener specifically because it just the pressure keeps coming.
Oh, and we're passing to Helenium,
Tap, upkeep, even start.
choosing not to attack or do anything. We have all this mana open.
Not paying. Also, the table's
I'm
playing
curious what we could be thinking if we are Shiver, or what we may have in hand. Does Hal here try to make a move?
Tap for 2 colors.
The nice thing about Blue Farm is that these are the points in the game where
Use a
just
color.
getting your Timna online and stuff is usually really good to just continuously fill your
Sure.
hand. But it looks like Hal's doing something
Is
pretty
appreciated.
drastic here. Cracking the Wish Claw.
2,
Looks
3,
like
1.
he's giving it to Pennyman.
Is
I
that
would
good?
assume, knowing that Pennyman missing land drops needs a little bit of help. You feel safe if you're not able to get a win here by giving the Wish Claw to that player specifically.
Seems pretty good.
But we have another unconditional tutor here.
A
from
wish
Hal.
claw, yeah. I mean, if you assume Pennyman might wish claw for a land if they don't draw one, like that's not a bad rate.
No. Although they probably Wish Claw for like a better artifact, like a mana crypt or
Yeah,
something that
yeah.
like goes up on mana more. Looks like they're really hurting for red sources though.
Yeah.
And knowing how Kirk and Sakashima, how that deck plays out, a lot of your best spells require you to play with red
Red.
pips.
Yeah.
Yeah. A very methodical shuffle here from Helenium Gaming. Notable content creator from what is it?
The spell seekers.
Oh, the Spell Seekers. I was
Past
thinking
the
of
primer.
I was thinking of Past the Primer. Yeah, that's the one that I'm familiar with, Hal, from. This I would like to see how the Thrasios Bruce player develops throughout the rest of this game because um I feel like they may be holding stuff open, in fear of
Pass
what
the
the
dock
other
side.
players at the table might be doing. Ooh, Hal getting a dockside here though. This is
Dockside Extortion is traditionally quite a good card.
specifically with this smothering tithe and all these
Yeah,
treasures.
I mean, we're asking if how greedy
Well,
Shiver would
or
like to
instead,
be.
We're just gonna lose to Shiver with the Wish Claw and all the mana.
Dockside mids
Have
to
to
play
have a
with Power
line.
MTG.
Get rid of some.
Oh yeah, I really like Helenium's political line here, letting the table know, like, hey, you watched me tutor for a dockside. If you counter this, we're gonna lose to Shiver because he's got all the mana and a tutor.
Bounce
Yeah.
LTV?
Are you paying for the smothering tide on that?
I will not pay it.
Oh, nice. Hal's gonna get an extra treasure out of this deal.
4 whites. Or 3 white and a black.
Okay. So dockside ATB.
I have one.
So 3. And how many from you, Shiver?
Okay, so notably, Shiver has left open 3 white and a black.
And a black.
Okay.
What could they cast with that particular mana?
Yeah,
Twister on
I'm
the stack.
so curious. Oh, putting a time twister. Oh, I like this from Helenium. I really like this play.
I'll
Blue player, good.
respond by bouncing your Dranith,
Oh, that's another good play from Maudis
Okay.
there.
and then we all mill 2.
That is a heads up play.
Yeah,
Force
I
it,
think so.
Force the negation.
Link, 2
Island.
land,
Oh,
Plus
Hal
will.
probably
We're all going
pretty
land
happy to
first.
see those cards hit the bin.
Yeah.
and then I'll tap
Twister on the stack.
Shuffle them away.
Head on Twister.
I'd like to respond.
Oh, tapping another white.
Yep, there it is.
White and 2. I'm going to March of Otherworldly Light, the opposing Wish Claw.
Claw.
Otherworldly light, the wish claw.
Hmm.
Just
Exiling
exiles it,
the
right?
Yeah, exiles.
exiling the opposing Wish Cloud
So-
there.
Time
Yeah.
twister good then?
Still good.
Yep,
All right.
that's good.
Interesting. Whoa. Not what I
Let me know how much you guys are playing
expected in
for.
Shiver's hand.
I'm
Ah.
tapped out, so you're getting 7 from Brian.
Yeah, we did
Seven from me.
time twister into a smothering tithe,
It'll be 21.
but
Jesus.
we'll see what happens.
Yeah, that is a
It's
good
not
point.
any different compared to the cards we had in hand and all the mana Shiver had with Tutor on board, to be fair.
There's a lot of treasures for Shiver here, but I think Helenium is banking on the idea that maybe Shiver.
Probably guessing that Mardu can't do much about him.
Yeah, basically, like I
Yeah.
have 7. Like everyone else is tapped out. I have 7 treasures and a
Brian
fresh
has 1, 3,
hand.
2.
Which is interesting because this deck does play some pretty wide answers to
2, 3, 1.
things. So
Yeah, let me look through here and see some
1,
stuff that
3,
we
2,
have.
Hal.
we got
Um,
Lightning Axe. We got our March of Otherworldly Light again.
Orm's Chant.
Silence, both swords, or no, just Path to Exile, not Swords to
And
Plowshares.
Hal, can you do me?
Wear Tear, Tithe?
Yeah, it'll be
Tithe, yeah. it was
Not
pretty-
Mana Tithe, but just Tithe. Okay.
Yep. So there's definitely some options here.
Yeah.
All right, everybody got
But yeah, I
hands?
don't know if giving them 21 treasures is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll find out, right?
Yeah.
We'll find
I
out.
like the Chain of Vapor on my dockside.
Oh,
Even
we're
for the
gonna
dock side. Let's see
double up
this
some
Lightning Axe. Shiver.
mana.
Oh.
21. And
Ripped into Chain of Vapor. That is not bad.
Yeah, I mean, is Shiver gonna sack all 21 treasures? Or did
That'd be
Hal
funny.
did Hal just speak into existence this bounce spell?
He just willed it to the top of his deck.
Look at this sword.
you guys passing priority?
Yeah, I got nothing on the chain.
Nah, I'm gonna misstep. Paying the 2.
That is.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, hold on. I have
Well, there's some pretty interesting storm
Oh, yeah.
counters.
Oh, there's a
Let's go.
Kark trigger on the misstep.
Yeah, there is a Grok
There we
trigger.
go.
I mean, it'll
but
eventually go through. We just gotta see how
I'm
much
gonna
life.
pay 2 more life to try again. That's cool.
Oh, so evens are go back to hand. It looks
Evens
like
go back to hand.
these
Okay.
madmen with the
Oh.
evens.
All right, so 2
First
missteps.
No, I
Shiver,
gotta copy.
evens doesn't mean safe, and
Yep.
then
That's fine.
now with this Kark,
I will play a Soul Ring.
hey, it was bait.
Yep.
How's the table feel about that?
Missed
How's the
John.
table feel about that?
I'll put a Windfall in the stack.
Oh my
Millennium-
gosh!
Oh god.
Windfall, no.
Helenium seeming slightly perturbed at the fact that he keeps getting interacted with on little things while
Yep.
Shiver
I'm
has
gonna
an advantage and an
respond.
engine and a tutor in play.
I'll,
Oh, Shiver here.
I'll cast
Plus
an
our-
orange
yeah.
chance.
You're casting what?
Worms chant.
Worms chant targeting you.
So there's the arms chant we were just
you cast anything
discussing.
Before the twister, because I already missed
Yeah,
one Crom
it
trigger.
has the March of Otherworldly Light.
I have a
Chrome trigger.
Okay.
Am I good to
Got it.
resolve that?
Yeah.
Shiver has all of the mana in the
Alright.
world and might get more.
I'm gonna respond with a mystical tutor.
Mystical Tutor in response
Uh,
to the Orms
Is
chant
that good?
or
To the Crom trigger.
to the
Alright, I'm
Chrome
gonna put a
trigger.
Final Fortune
So-
on top of my deck.
Oh, we're putting
Put a-
Final Fortune on top of library.
Oh,
Sorry, that's what I drew off the Crom. I don't have a Crom trigger anymore.
juicy.
Carry off.
Oh, no more
what did
Chrome
you pay
trigger.
for the,
Okay.
The draw.
No.
Okay.
It's almost like, why would you ask if they paid for the draw at this point? Because you've got 22 treasures. Does you got 21? Does 22 make a big difference?
Yeah.
I mean, I do it just because it's fun to announce your triggers, but
Yeah, this is a big yikes here. If we don't have a way to get that Final Fortune, Shiver is
Oh God, I'm dropping stuff.
Shiver's got a lot of mana, man.
yeah.
That's scary. Mana wins games. We need the Thrasios Bruce player to
3, 2,
get a
1.
oof into play or something.
Yeah.
All right, so Hal putting Final Fortune on top. So we're gonna draw it with the windfall, but there's an orange chant on the stack
I
still.
pass on it.
Oh,
Windfall
Alright,
back on the stack.
oh well, I guess yeah. You can just
Pass
cast
on
Final
Windfall.
Fortune in Maudis's
Yes.
turn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna cast an Entomb.
And then tomb.
Oh boy, get
Yep.
Entomb off
I
here.
pass on it.
Yep.
It's upsetting I missed your Crom trigger on the Quark, because then I get the mystical tutor and get the Final Fortune on top of the orange chant.
What I get here?
Yeah, Helenium explaining there how upset he is that he missed one of his triggers. Would have made it so he could Final Fortune on top of the orange chant, which no longer is an option.
Somewhere.
That orange chant just has to sit, or the Final Fortune just has to sit on top of his
I'll go
library.
Sabine's.
Okay.
How many?
Windfall in the stack. Cards in hand.
I have to
So Bear
set
Claymore in the chat saying,
six.
"Damn, I don't see
Yeah,
Smothering
fine.
Tithe as often in CDH, and then I come here and see it
I'm
got
going to
2
discard
wheels."
Thassa's Oracle,
Yeah,
Swords of Plowshares, Exotic Orchard,
Helenium
Fires.
is the player that casted the 2 wheels.
No,
Helenium
there's
is a
no- there's
pretty
a human, and then
his
somebody
strategy
with
I'd say is
Fedor's
very
command.
fast and loose.
A heads up
He-
gamer though.
yes,
Drew,
he
Pyretic,
is
Ancient,
aware of most of the
Archmage,
decks at the
Underworld
table
Breach,
and the
yes.
types of strategies and spells that they implement.
Commands,
So I think
Grinding
he was
Station,
anticipating
Moxwell
that he
Poleland,
only
Station
had to
Action.
try to beat Shiver there if he was going for a
Somebody give me
line.
the Brazilian card.
And I think the orange chant was a
I'll
bit
see
of
what
a gotcha there.
Okay.
Bring back Hull Breacher, says Tainted MTG. Tainted, read the room. Did you not see the recent post from PWP Cal?
I will pass.
Are you guys paying for your treasures?
Nope.
Oh no. Have all of them.
Yeah, that's a lot of treasures.
Yeah,
Go up to
this
40,
Hal
2,
saying, take
3,
all your
something like
treasures
that.
here.
Something like that. Yeah.
All right, so there's Windfall resolved. We know
You're evil
one piece of
guys.
information in Helenium's hand, which
Another
is the
treasure 'cause there's
Final
people that
Fortune.
paying for 'em anymore.
We are on to Maudis's turn. You guys can see that
Little
Shiver
treasure
has about
turn.
7,800 mana in play.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot. It's
Crypt.
ooh,
Ooh, playing with Power
44.
Cal.
Why
saying-
would you put it 44 like that though? Why couldn't you just Never
We'll
mind.
cast Thrasios.
Oh, I hear you.
Uh,
We have some interesting discussions in chat right now. You have playing with Power Cal asking, bring back D's. And then you have playing with Power MTG asking, what's D's?
I'm at risk of violating TOS. These nuts.
Oh. Oh.
Yeah.
I wish I would have seen that coming.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yes.
Blind Carl in chat saying, I feel like they can just hardcast Jessica enough times to kill everyone with that mana. It's pretty close. I will not lie to you.
it's uh,
Also, notably in that last wheel, they put Savine's Reclamation in the bin. It was the
Yeah.
first card that they put in the graveyard. So if we do any typical Tim Jessica stuff, let me see if they have what I
Yeah.
think they
Ooh.
have. They
Did we
don't.
just
That's
Oh.
not
boot
enough.
up a Zerta?
Zerta Dawnwaker.
You know, would be
Ooh.
pretty hilarious right now.
Is there a Will Jessica kill website? That's fun.
Will Jessica kill website. Scoop, you are funny, my friend.
How you'd like
The
to
Scoop
cut
face in the chat.
2-on-3.
Max,
Max
P
P.
MTG. Yeah.
and
Shivers wanted to pay attention to, says Max P MTG in the chat. Push the deck concepts to
let's
another
see
level.
here.
Crazy innovation.
Crazy
Go for it. Play the
innovation.
Salt Monolith.
Shiver making
No, I don't
their
want
land
to
drops
interaction.
despite
I tried to find interaction.
having only
Select
23 in the
one
deck
or
is
colorless.
just a beautiful thing.
Oh my gosh, there's only 23 lands in
Just
this
worry about
deck.
the price.
Yeah, there's only 23 lands in that deck.
Yeah, I'm only gonna. Go for
But
it.
Salt Monolith and
I'm gonna
Zerta
check
tends
out the
to win the game
To
for
be honest,
sure.
I don't know if I'm gonna do it and like risk it, but like this kills us now. My hand isn't a determined win. That's all I'm gonna say.
I'm gonna cast the Path to Exile on the Zerta.
Zerta. I
Yeah.
will use that one floating in Exotic Orchard to activate Thrasios.
You go.
Mirror Commander for CEDH. I want mirrors to go beer. This
Use you a
the stasis
Automatic.
mirror. That's
Reveal
interesting.
Thassa's Oracle.
Oh,
Cool.
revealing Thassa's Oracle. That's pretty sweet.
Wow, Dawnwaker playing Thassa's Oracle.
Yep, that will unfortunately happen.
Interesting.
Oh, the Zerta is getting exiled here.
Zerta is going
Unfortunate.
bye-bye.
I figured if I didn't go for it, somebody's gonna
You
win
can
it for.
you can search for a basic if you'd like.
I don't run basics.
Into
Oh,
play,
insult to
tapped.
injury.
You can
letting
search
you
for
know.
basic if you'd like. Path to Exile, I think, is pretty heads up. Not a lot of people on basics right now.
Yep.
No,
What is
Chain
the
Impact mana bases exist pretty heavily, even in a deck like
Have an Eldritch
Thrasios Bruce.
Lawn Work
It's high
in,
color.
Harvest
They're
Time,
not even
Silvergrass,
going to be running
Birds,
most basic
Slippery,
lands at this point.
Regeneration, Misty,
Yeah.
and
So
Swift.
yeah,
All right.
Path
What
to
about
Exile is
you,
a pretty good
Benji?
card. It should be played
Misstep,
more
step
than
through,
swords, I'd say.
Pyretic, couple lands, Archmage, and Breach.
What about you, Shiver?
Entomb, Sabine's, Aurum, Sacred, Gemstone, Grinding Station.
Oh,
Elder
Hal trying to
Scroll,
determine if he can
Yeah,
Final Fortune into meme bet, maybe.
Betrayal.
Yeah, here we go. The races. We're off to them.
Yeah, Final Fortune on the
We'll
stack.
activate Thrasios and our
Notably,
Sacred Stone.
Pennyman
Those
still has a
floating.
blue available
Oh,
to
wait, no,
them.
Zerta's gone.
Yep.
Can't do that.
Yep.
Nope.
Zerta's gone. You
No,
can't
I
activate
passed on that
Thrasios,
one.
unfortunately.
Yep.
Good on Maudis for
Pass.
catching their own play.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So we're good to go to my turn.
All right. Final Fortune has gone through.
All right, looks like we're going to move to Hellenium's extra turn here. If Hellenium cannot win the game here, he will lose the game.
No silence in the upkeep.
Land for turn will be in Ancient Tomb.
Oh, mana. We have about 6 cards in hand, it looks like, from a quick glance. Is our read on the Mnemonic Betrayal correct?
Colorless and pool.
Mothering Tithe trigger notably missed by Shiver.
That might come back to bite
Unless you're
him.
casting Mnemonic, though.
Yeah, that mana will certainly tilt the balance.
Pass.
Oh, Mnemonic Betrayal is being passed on by Maudis.
It's good.
Passed by Pennyman. Passed by Shiver. The Mnemonic Betrayal is resolving by Hellenium here. This could be huge. There's an Underworld Breach in Pennyman's
Underworld Breach
graveyard.
in there too.
Look at these infinity tokens.
And a Rite of Flame?
Ten.
Or is that a Pyretic Ritual? It's a
I
Pyretic
was
Ritual.
chewing on it the other night.
Step through wizard cycles, but they can't do that. I don't know. It's not completely zipped up, but like
I was
it's
chewing
not
on
bad.
you 2 days ago.
Okay.
Oh,
It's
okay.
fairly zipped up.
Yeah,
Never mind.
we just were told that
I
we have.
didn't see the station.
Yeah, there's a grinding station as well as an Underworld Breach revealed by separate players.
Bullshit.
So
We're
Dry erase pen.
yeah.
this
Difficult.
this if Hal can see a line here,
All right. So
I
can
think
anybody
we've
spread out
wrapped
the
it up.
extra yards for me?
Mine are up here.
Yep.
Can you see them or?
Yes. I see yours.
Is that a Soul Guide Lantern? It is. It's definitely a Soul Guide Lantern.
Michaela, is my pen over there?
Michaela.
Michaela, is my pen over
Michaela,
there?
where's my pen at? Michaela, stop with your Sims games.
It's gonna be such a bitch without it.
Hal, don't yell at your wife on stream.
Well, no, he said that it would be hard to do this win without
So
his
I'm gonna
pen.
start- I'm used. Is there any silences in yard?
There's an
Boredom's
orange chain.
chant.
That's target player.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
just one player.
Michaela, everybody in chat,
Fine. I'm gonna use the
credit
I'm
where
gonna
credit
cast
is
the
due.
Mox
Shouts out to
Diamond.
Michaela. She's a real one.
Is that fun?
Yeah, they're
Alright.
truly a
Focus
real one.
2. I'll pitch this forbidden order.
Do we have a fat vape rip count for Hal? I'm sure
I
it's
will
in the
pass.
tens.
Yeah, there's
I
also
haven't heard the trademark whooshing sound, but
From me, not from Brett.
Okay,
Got
I
a
will cast.
couple.
I will cast the opal.
Yep.
Storm is 3.
Yeah, I mean, we've got mana. We've got
yeah.
I will.
We
spells
got
that
mana,
win
we've
the
got
game.
action, we've got, yeah. Savine's Wreck, notably.
We've got infinite
Attorney
tokens.
tutors.
Savine's Wreck, Castrum.
From
Is it anywhere other than your hand, or is
From the
it
tomb.
from your graveyard specifically? I can't remember the
I will.
You
proviso
can-
on Savine's Wreck.
So Savine's Wreck, the flashback is only from your graveyard, but he can like there's a lot of options here.
Yeah.
With Entomb and Savine's Reclamation, there
Yeah.
are lines that you can implement, as well as with Underworld Breach.
Is that fun?
Yeah, I mean, certainly you already have a breach, so
The problem being that
I'll use the colorless to cast the Entomb.
the Mox Opal is not Helenium, so he has to utilize the Mana Crypt to do grinding station loops.
Is that fun?
yeah.
But then he doesn't have the colored mana except for his it's a complicated line here, so we're gonna
Yeah.
watch very carefully here as Hal plays this out. Unfortunately, the board state representation is going to be a little poor because we don't have Michaela could not find the pen, therefore we cannot write on our infinite tokens.
Entomb a demonic tutor, I think.
Entombing a Demonic Tutor is pretty good when you have a breach to cast.
Yeah.
We've cast a Mox Diamond.
Let's see what else we have. Savine's Wreck. 1, 2, 3.
Opal.
Which one?
2, 3, 1.
This will probably be the longest part here, is all the shuffles
Yes.
and cuts that we have
You
to
can also-
implement here.
Spontus has the line in the chat for sure. The tight line.
Yes, Pontus, that is a good read. Pontus is a very smart player.
Spontus in chat is an extremely smart Magic player.
Ironically, yesterday I packed of negation Pontus's Glenhorn win without a way to pay for it. And you know, I think I'll get roasted for it very soon.
Why?
Because it's not going to be on CDH TV.
Oh no!
Still good.
Yes, Kalua in chat, you are correct. You won't get a Savine's copy since you're casting it from exile and not the grave. You only get the copy if you cast it from a graveyard. And because Mnemonic Betrayal exiles the cards, it is not in a graveyard.
Moves up my storm.
So I believe the card in the middle of the battlefield there, the white infinite token that has nothing on it, is a Underworld Breach.
That seems correct, yes.
The token by the lands there
It's a Mox
is a
Diamond or a
land.
Mox Opal.
And then there's a Mox Opal also by the lands, I believe.
Can y'all see me shuffling?
No, I think the token by the land is a Mox Diamond.
Oh, did someone else have a Mox Diamond?
Yeah. Mautus.
Oh.
Just 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3.
Cannon shots in the chat. Thank you.
White.
Appreciate that.
Cast the Grand Abolisher.
Oh,
Grand
there's a
Abolisher
silence
zips
effect.
this up a little bit easier for sure.
There's a silence effect we were looking for.
Cast the Grinding Station.
Now
Yeah.
we can station our way to victory.
This is where players in the past, like Zane, would say, "Would you like to scoop to this?"
Respond to it. Sack my mana crypt. Mill through.
Thanks, Mark. Appreciate you.
Play my mana crypt out of the yard. This is untapped.
So now we have a grinding station and an underworld breach.
I
We have a
better
treasure
concentrate
available,
before
a
I
mana crypt.
focus.
We're going to utilize that mana crypt to grind with our
Respond to
grinding
it.
station
Sack.
and start filtering through here.
Until we get something better.
Yeah. Cat and Shots in chat with a very funny quote there. Grinding station is bad in Timda and Crom unless it starts from someone else's deck.
Tough Bunny 13 in the chat asked, how proxied is the average cedh deck? Well, depends on the player.
Yeah.
Mine is about 75% proxied.
My cedh deck has no proxies in it, but I play with plenty of friends who their decks have no real cards in them.
Yep.
It's pretty open format. People really don't care what you play with as long as you're down to play.
So, chat, we dumped 3 more cards into our graveyard here so we could recast Demonic Tutor. I think this goes and gets one of Brain Freeze or Lion's Eye Diamond and makes the loop that we're trying to propose a little bit easier.
Oh, yeah. Plus, you get to fill your graveyard a little bit more with this LED crack. It's pretty heads up play here by Hal to go through the line this specific way. LED also enables way more color fixing, therefore makes your line a lot tighter.
Discard 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Nice. We even have a wheel in there. We wanted to make
Yeah.
the line even better.
I mean, because we can Brain Freeze until we can exile, we can flip our opponent's text and then wheel that way. I mean, Helenium's got a million ways to walk it in here. He's just kind of got to get there. There's the we natty Brain Freeze off of a grinding station. Is that really the natty Brain Freeze off of a grinding station? Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I think that this we can just shut her down, folks. There's a Grand Abolisher in play. Hal has all the pieces needed for the line. Besides the Underworld Breach, the pieces for his line are his very own. So
there's even a deflecting SWAT in his yard right now.
And a mental misstep.
We can protect ourselves from Odawara if we have red. Or yes, I have to look and see if there's an out here. No, it's not in this list, Kahlua.
So Hal's showing he has his own Thassa's Oracle and saying to the table, I pretty much have it locked in here if you guys are cool with that. The table agrees. Yeah, you've won this game, man.
Table accepts the shortcut. And yeah, beautiful.
And I was like, oh, there's a breach and a grinding station? Fuck.
Yeah.
We are still at 52 minutes left in the round, so that was a fairly expedient.
Wow, what a well, I'd like to say a few things first. First, what an amazing line of play there by Hal. You know, a lot of people would consider the way that he went about that incorrect, right? Because you're just wheeling into the Smothering Tithe player. But the thing is that if the Smothering Tithe player never gets to untap, and you believe that they don't have the cards in their deck to deal with the cards in yours, this goes back into what I was saying about how wheels are card advantage engines, right? I mean, Helenium had that game almost in complete control throughout the whole thing, being able to tutor and target the things he needed, getting an extra turn when it was required. And, you know, there was a little bit of luck involved there by getting that Mnemonic Betrayal off the wheel. But, you know, seeing the line and getting there, super heads up play, while another opponent at the table has over 40 mana available to them.
Yeah, it's one of those things where Helenium correctly weighed the value of those treasures against the value of his new hand of cards. And unfortunately, there are not many wide answers in Mardu that stop what Helenium planned to do, other than silence effects, which we saw one of, but as it turns out, Mystical Tutor in front of a wheel is pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Uh,
And those extra turn effects are really, really powerful.
yeah,
These red the red time walks, as Drake calls them, just put in a lot of work into these types of games and are really, really useful for closing it out in scenarios where, I guess, quote unquote, stealing a win is the only way that you can get there, right? If you take a turn before the person that's supposed to win, I mean, dude, it's crazy. And so I really like that. I really like that line of play. And I think Hellenium really showcased why they are such a skillful player, and why Blue Farm is such a strong deck. Time and time again, now we've watched Blue Farm take down 3 games today. That
yes,
deck is not something to scoff at, and you cannot give it any room. As soon as you give it an inch, it'll take a mile.
yeah,
And that's the biggest threat of a deck like Blue Farm.
absolutely. I was very impressed with that win, and like you said, the power of the red turn spells is something that people are just kind of figuring out now in en masse, right? We had them in Mad Farm before. We had maybe Final Fortune and Blue Farm before, but there are like 3 of them that you can run, and if you're already making a lot of red mana, they're pretty cool. We even saw Final Fortune and Krark.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think that that's just I think that there's effects in the game that are just way too powerful to not be utilizing, and things like extra turns and especially extra turns that cost you little to no mana investment, are on that tier of just too powerful not to be utilizing. And you know you see a lot of decks just abusing that ability. Something that I like to always say in CDH is most decks are just buying for one more turn, right? How many times do you finish a game and at the end of the game, the player next to you says, "Man, if I just would have got to my turn, I had the win." And then the player after them goes, "Well, if I would have had my turn, I would have had the win," right? Every
Yeah,
CDH deck just needs one more turn, which is why I think these extra turn spells are so strong.
yeah. Uh, in the chat, can we behave, please? Be nice to each other. Yeah. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with another game. Enjoy the ad break.
Our merchandise is now available in our store. You can get playmats, sleeves, dice, coins, and tokens. Right now until the end of January, get 10% off of your order when you enter Mox Masters January at checkout. All sales go to help the channel, so thank you all very much. Playing with Power is excited to announce the first annual Mox Masters Invitational coming in Q3 of 2023. It is an in-person CDH tournament weekend with thousands of dollars in prizes. How do you get to the Invitational? By winning Mox Masters points through your tournaments this year. We award points to the top 32 spots in our tournaments. With enough points, you get an automatic qualification to the Q3 event. Want to go but don't feel ready to participate in Mox Masters? Want to prepare for the Mox Masters tournament themselves? Our webcam Discord League awards Mox Masters points as well. If you subscribe to our Patreon at any tier, you get an automatic entry into our monthly webcam leagues. We award points to the top 10 of the leagues every month. January's registration is already open and there are still some tickets left. You can also sign up to our Patreon and start playing in the league right now. Thank you all for your support, and we will see you at the tournament. We have recently revamped our Patreon, adding a ton of new perks. We are introducing Patreon webcam playdays. Once per month, we will be hosting a playdate on our Discord playing webcam games with all of our patrons. All tiers qualify. We are introducing Patreon exclusive gameplay videos as well. These videos are not available to the public and only for patrons. We are also introducing a new merchandise tier. When you sign up to this tier, you'll receive a merchandise bundle with all kinds of Playing with Power goodies. This revamp is in order to give more to those who already support us. Thank you all very much for your support and sign up today.